Hey all, Tony Bing here. Hello and welcome to my Lethal Protector endgame build for Venom for Marvel Heroes Omega for PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. Now in this build guide video we will look at the skills and talents we use. We'll check out the optimal synergies, we'll have a look at the infinity point allocation. This is where we would place the first 100 points. We'll then check out the general gear and priorities, and at the end of the video we have some gameplay to show off the build as well. Now as always, if you want to jump to any section, check out the description, there will be timestamps there. Otherwise we'll start off by looking at the skills. The skill setup we have here then is really a nice and easy one. You've got your spammable vulnerability, and then your main skills are all hard hitting cooldowns of 8 seconds, so really nice and simple rotation, which I do aim for on my heroes. The main filler we use anyway is Symbiote Strike. This restores 2% of your max biomass, and it's also the hardest hitting filler that you can use on them when you buff it through talents. The vulnerability applicator we have is Predator's Web, and as mentioned you can spam it, so it's great for taking out lesser trash. We then have our Crashdown, which gets us an enemy's face, and this is Dark Descent. Now the next 3 skills we follow up with all have a 100% chance to critically hit and also 50% critical hit damage bonus. So we have Raising Wreckage, then we have Demolish and Slam, and then we have Terrain Toss. Now finally we have our signature, which is Symbiotic Spike, so it hits a nice amount, knocks enemies in the air. Very importantly through talents we've got it, when we use this it will also activate We Are Venom, which gives you a 20% base damage buff plus also 10% flat critical hit and brutal strike chance, as well as gaining health, and through talents we gain our defensive benefits and dots as well. It really is pretty fantastic. But what we'll do now anyway is have a look at the talents. First talent we have then is the one that buffs our filler. This is Bio-Organic Webbing. So when you use your main filler Symbiote Strike, encase your hands in hardened webs, adding a biomass cost but increasing damage by 30%. You gain an additional 100 biomass and you gain 15% damage for biomass powers. Now if you prefer and you want to make him a bit tankier at the cost of actual damage, what you can use is Thirsty Claws, and you would use Hungering Strike. That can really make him feel tanky, so that option is there, and it's a case of just switching one talent. The next talent is We Are Unstoppable, so this ties in with We Are Venom. It restores 100% of your maximum health, you gain 20% maximum health, and also an additional 20% defense rating and deflect rating multiplier, so that pulls both of them up to 40% while this is active. Next up is Parasitic Tendrils. So again, We Are Venom applies Tendril Drain, healing from all sources goes up by 10%. That can work really well if you use the first talent option I was mentioning, and you gain a damage dot as well there, and you also restore biomass and health. Next up it's Collateral Damage. So the 3 skills that have the 100% critical hit chance gain it through this particular talent. So they're Demolish and Slam, Raising Wreckage and Terrain Toss, and they also deal more damage as well. And then finally we have Symbiosis. So Symbiotic Spike's your signature, automatically activates We Are Venom, so that gives us an extra skill slot if it's not on cooldown, and it won't be because we've not got it on a bar, we're not using it, and it also pulls down the actual cooldown of your signature by 5 seconds as well, which is pretty helpful there. But next up we'll have a look at the synergies. For the synergies we start off with the primary attributes in Venom, and that would be strength and also durability, which is covered by Ant-Man and Luke Cage. The more generic ones are Blade, Hawkeye, Hulk, She-Hulk and Squirrel Girl, and then finally Black Panther, Daredevil and also Nightcrawler can work great due to the melee power tag on all of these skills. But for the next section we'll have a look at the infinity point allocation, and this is where we would place the first 100 points. For the infinity point setup here I would be using the Mind Gem and Deep Thought, and this gives us an additional 250 biomass, which sorts any problems we would have with resource, because if our pool isn't high enough we will run into some issues. If you're using the actual main filler that would restore your health, what you'd want to do instead is you would place your points into the space gem, and also you'd put them into gravity well, because you gain a flat 8% of your health back on hit. So the higher your health pool, the more you'll be gaining back, and that really can make them pretty tanky there. But for the final section before the gameplay, we will check out the general gearing priority. As always then, with this gearing section, what I'll do is give some general guidelines where you want to actually aim for stat wise, and that means as new gear comes out in the game, you can apply the advice given here to help you choose if you want to move items around. Now, the particular legendary that I would use for this setup would be the Savage Axe of Ares. It gives you a bonus to all of your melee skills, which is all of your skills. The rank 2 is unfortunately wasted because we don't have any movement power tags, but the rank 3 and 4 are fantastic. You've got the brutal damage rating and you've got the 1500 brutal strike rating. The reason that's so good is we have 3 skills that have a 100% chance to critically hit. When we use our steroid, which has got roughly a 30% uptime, you are gaining a 10% chance to critically hit for all your skills as well. So that helps make up for the fact that we're not making use of the 1500 critical hit which you do gain here. For the medallion, has to be Dr. Octopus 1. This gives you melee power damage. We're not using Venom because it has the hand-to-hand power damage tag on it, bizarrely. When it comes to the Catalyst, you really want to look out for health on hit. That always comes in handy if you are running an actual melee build, and also look for his primary attributes, so strength or durability there. For the Relic of Gibram is the one I'm using at the moment. It gives us additional biomass. If you feel you're not having any issues with resource, then change it for the melee Relic instead. When it comes to the artifacts, won't show off many other than this one. Symbiote Infestation, perfect for them. You have a chance to summon symbiote spawns. It has durability, it has strength, and it has health. It's clearly custom made for them, so it's really pretty fantastic. What we'll do to finish off the video is we have some gameplay. We have a run through of the Daily Bugle where we take down the Sinister Six and also Vulture. Now, as always, I'll mention quickly, this is purely to show off the rotation and how the build works, not how we actually would be in cosmic content. With covering 41 heroes, I don't have time to gear them all to actually show off cosmic content, but I hope this gameplay is pretty fun to watch anyway. If there's any questions, as always, feel free to ask, and I'll see you all again soon.
Suffered enough.
Oh look, it's time to play. Check out my toys.
the fear from you at least.
Get out of my newsroom!
I have to see you bleed. Even death cannot stop me. Wanna go again? Round 2, right now.
Don't you know who I am? Guess I'll bust you up. You ain't heard the last of this.
You won't be harming any more innocents. Death from above! The vulture is here. How simple! No, never! Time to break out the big guns! Patience for this? I'm too old for this crap.
Don't expect...